It's so great to see all of you, and thank you so much for inviting us to your meeting. We are no stranger to meeting in, all across this county, and, it's really good to be here in Anaheim. Like we said, we actually met in the Untold Story in their previous location pretty frequently. We used to. And then we met in the Unitarian Church as well, and I think, it's great to be here again in the new space. Like I said earlier, my name is Alex. I'm on the steering committee for Orange County DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America. I'm also on the steering committee for California DSA, our statewide formation, and I'm the secretary of our labor committee. We're going to go over a little bit about what DSA is and what we here in Orange County do as DSA, and a little bit about how, if you're interested, you can get involved, because we're a democratic organization that anyone can join, and we're really excited to hear from you all about what your vision is for Orange County and for Anaheim, and to sort of understand more about the work you're doing as well. So hopefully we can talk to you, have conversations with everybody afterwards as well. Cool. Just at the top of the presentation, though, I wanted to sort of shout out that we usually have some community agreements when we are in space. We use progressive stack, so if somebody's talking a lot, we may ask that other people who haven't got a chance to speak get to talk first. Make space, take space. So if you feel like there's something to say, please say it. And if you feel like other people may have something else to say, make space for them to say it. Obviously, we all have disagreements. DSA is a big tent. We have lots of different people with different ideas about what the left and what the future of our country should look like, within reason. So we try and operate with mutual respect for all of each other, and all of our different perspectives, because we all come to this with different life experiences. And then, of course, active listening is the key, because sometimes, those different experiences give all of us different preconceptions, and we should just come in with an open mind and open ears. So okay. That all aside, I wanted to start with a question for all of you before we go into the sort of meat and potatoes of the presentation, which is, what issue made you want to get involved in politics? So we'd love to hear from any of you. I know it's an unprompted question, but
I grew up in Washington, D.C.
I actually grew up in rural Virginia, South Virginia, so I feel you. My first DSA chapter was in Fredericksburg, Virginia, so
First time I got involved was during the Iraq War. I was completely against it.
Same thing with me.
Awesome. Yeah.
My parents were two.
War for life.
Sorry. I forgot what I was talking.
No, you're good.
My parents were one of the small minority of Democrats in Orange County in the 60s, and they were active in the Democratic Party, and my mother did poll work every election. And so, growing up in that family, of course my mother is pol sci major too, so of course I'm going to be involved in politics.
Yeah, over there. How you? Yeah.
Representative James, extremely famous for being extremely right-wing. In 1963, he called me a bag when I was 15. Republican representative for Orange County. James
James B. JB.
He was a butthole.
Yeah. I'm a third generation Anaheim, sixth generation family. So we all went through discrimination of our cultures. When I saw the cultures of others come here, they were getting abused. And back in the time in the 70s and the 80s. And I stood up and I got attacked. And I used to work for the city of Disneyland. So I got attacked by my own people because they want to control. And they're really beating us down and killing us and not educating us right. It's one side versus the other, and we're the good side. That's what got me involved.
Yeah, and I think
the first thing I did politically ever in my life was when I was 15 years old and I was going to school in Los Angeles, and the teachers union went on strike for better pay, but also better decision-making power for parents and community members and teachers in the school sites. And they had a 9-day strike, and it was rainy, it was was like in May, and they're just pouring the whole time, and we participated in a student walkout to support our teachers, to support our education.
I love that. I wish my students did that for me when I was on school.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm one of
I was a
the
teacher.
civil rights young people. I was with Dr. Martin Luther King on the March on Washington. I helped organize it. I was there myself. Coming back, I was the founder of we did a lot. He was a great role model. And coming back, I became president of many different types of youth groups, Ohio. My people are from Appomattox, Virginia. You know Appomattox?
Yes.
That's where the Civil War ended.
Yeah, sure.
And my folks came, so that's a whole story also. And I'm here in Anaheim, and I do a lot with teachers. I'm a retired educator, and all of these are my friends, and we do a lot together, and we look for things here in the classrooms, in the community to make a difference.
That's awesome. That's so beautiful. Yeah.
Well, I fell in with a bad crowd.
You told me. I'm really so yeah, let's take this last one probably.
My 21-year-old son was killed by the Anaheim police in 2012, and I started going to city council immediately after, and I started seeing how there was so much corruption in different parts of, not just the police, but, with everything. Like, I just started, suddenly I saw everything wrong with everything around me, and that's how I became involved.
Yeah, I think it's been so great to hear from all of you. Wow. I think it's really beautiful because all of us are here because we want to make the world a better place, right? Sorry.
We started taking real words.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm putting a smile right now. Okay, and that's also why we're here, right? We're all involved in politics because we see that, DSA's slogan is a better world is possible, right? And it feels so often today that world isn't possible. All the things that people got involved in politics here to fight for are still unfinished business, right? So that's, what we're trying to do at DSA is not just fight electoral fights, which obviously we all think is very important, but also, build coalitions across different movements. We describe ourselves, and I think someone's going to say this, as an organization of organizers, people who want to, find community and intervene in every single place possible to help alleviate all the problems that are, currently endemic in our society. So, it's been great to hear from all of you, and I'm going to pass it off to Sean to talk a little bit about what DSA actually is and what we do here in Orange County. So thanks.
Hello everyone, my name is Sean. For the OCDSA, I organize our political education committee. I'm here to talk to you about what are the Democratic Socialists of America, right? What is DSA? Let's hit the nail on the head with we are an organization of organizers. When I first joined, I think hearing that was kind of one of the most inspiring things that came out of my early days with DSA. It's not just a group that's telling you exactly what to think and what to do, right? But it's telling you that you yourself can be an organizer, that you yourself are capable of growth and becoming someone who organizes your community, organizes around values and campaigns and actions that you yourself find important, and maybe your community, the people around you find important. So I think right here on the slide it says we're not a political party and not a ballot line. A lot of people, I think, approach that with a sense of like a deficit, right? So, we're not a political party, but I think you can approach it with something a lot more positive. We're not just a political party. We're not just a ballot line. We are an organization of organizers, right? We are a group of people who want to develop ourselves, develop our communities. We want to become better organizers, right? So I think when we approach the question of whether or not we're a political party, we'll say we're not just a political party. I think that's a way better way to kind of approach that question. So as Alex touched on before, we are a big tent organization. What that means is that within reason, right, we do accept a wide array of different ways to approach organizing, right? So if you want to come in and you have a different idea about how to organize effectively, that's something that we not only entertain, right, but we also encourage, right? We think that that idea of coming together and then discussing the merits of and talking openly with one another and how we can make our communities better places is what makes our organization a lot stronger than it would be otherwise. So we're united in member democracy. We have tons of meetings. We vote a lot. We have a lot of committees, right, on political education. I've heard a lot of our members, electoral politics, environmental justice, or environmental, immigrant justice. These are all committees that have been brought up not because someone from the top down said we should have these committees, but because each member said, hey, we should organize around these topics. We brought it up at one of our general meetings. We talked it through and said, yes, this is an area that we should organize in. This is an area that we can organize ourselves, and develop our communities, and fight for change that we want under these topics. These core beliefs of working together in democracy and talking openly with one another and finding the best way to move forward is really what organizes us together. We believe that the working class has to be empowered, so people that look like you and me who work for a living, right? I'm sure a lot of us, I just came off a 10-hour shift to be here, right? And a lot of us do come off of work just to go back to work, it feels like, right? And even though it feels tiring, at the end of the day, we believe that working through that will organize us, our communities, develop our communities, and that is what keeps us together. And I believe, and we all believe, that that's what will propel the working class to power here in Orange County and across the United States. So let's talk about stuff that people care about real quick, the wins, right? So after all of that big hoity-toity stuff, where do we actually stand in winning things for our communities? Big one, everyone's heard of this. November 2025, Zoran Mamdani elected New York City mayor. Is a longtime member of New York DSA, right? So him being elected represented a lot of work that came in, right? So people see this end goal, and it really is just a momentous goal, but there's a lot of work that came up from his chapter of DSA, a lot of organizing, a lot of development. It didn't happen all in one night. It happened through many years of organizing, developing himself as a candidate, developing his team to help him get elected, and developing his chapter and the communities that helped him get elected, right? But we didn't stop there, right? So that's last year. We're just going to go through a couple of wins, a couple of organizing moments in DSA's recent history, starting from March 2026. Twin City DSA co-hosts the Melt the Ice Week of Action. New Orleans DSA and their coalition partners pressured the French Quarter Fest to adopt Chevron as one of their title sponsors. In May 2026, the Orange County chapter of DSA joined over 170 other chapters of DSA nationwide to participate in May Day actions. And now tomorrow, right? Now is not the time to stop. We're going to go ahead and keep getting wins, keep electing our officials that work with us, for us, develop ourselves and our communities. I'll just name a couple real quick, but this is not an exhaustive list. Mateo Sampson wins the Georgia State House. Janice Lewis George wins Democratic primary for DC mayor. And Chris Rabb wins a deep blue Pennsylvania congressional district, right? So we have those big wins. November 2025, so I'm done. Everyone knows that, right? But we don't stop there. We will keep organizing, keep developing until we can go ahead and get wins across the United States and hopefully here in Orange County and our communities as well. So DSA is a national organization. We're part of the Orange County chapter. We're a local formation, but we're part of this larger organization, specifically the largest socialist organization in the U.S. with over 120,000 members in all 50 states, of which Orange County is only one of the over 200 chapters. We do pay dues to be part of Orange County, to be part of Orange County DSA, to be part of DSA. That is paid to national DSA, and then we get a due share off of that, right? So they're really kind of using that to help develop and pass that money around to make sure that the DSA chapters that are needed, they need that money to help grow and develop themselves, get that monetary and financial support. The National Political Committee is our kind of coordinating head, right? So there are political leadership. They get elected, I think it's biannually, is that correct? Yes. At the convention, So that's a way that democracy not only exists here in the local formations of DSA, but also exists in the national stage. The National Political Committee handles the officers and staff nationwide, and also our kind of national level commissions and working groups that handle kind of setting priorities, developing those theories and actions that they can then use and pass on to the local formations such as Orange County DSA.
Yeah, just so I wanted to flag that like our national commissions coordinate a lot of our work. So we've got the DSA Labor Commission, which like helps workers organize in their workplaces. We've got the National Electoral Commission, which is probably the highest profile thing, right? You've heard about Chris Rabb, Claire Valdez, Lisa Chevalier, like our congressionalists, Melanie Kiros in Colorado. We've got the Green New Deal Coordinating Committee, which is helping support a Green New Deal for our entire country, right? UIDSA, helping youth organize and build like the next generation. And then we've got like our National Housing Commission as well. Got all kinds of different stuff that help support chapters in their work. So, yeah. Oh,
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'm glad to let you speak. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our local chapter. We are part of Orange County DSA, and just like Sean said, it's one of over 200 chapters in the United States. We are almost at 800 members. We're kind of excited because that'll be a milestone for us. So if any of you join, that might just get us over. In terms of our chapter structure, you might have heard a lot of us are on steering. So that is the leadership body of DSA, but our leadership works in, service to the general membership. Like we've all been talking about, DSA is a bottom-up democratic organization, right? That is the main voting body of DSA. But as well, we're going to go through some of the other groups, the committees, the working groups, but there are officers there, and then there's steering, and that's kind of the basic structure. In terms of our internal democracy, we use Slack as our main organizing platform, which some people like, some people don't, if you're familiar with Slack. We also have monthly hybrid meetings. These are open, so if you're interested, please come by. This month, I think it's going to be at the CWA Hall. Is that correct? Yeah. And that's where we vote on resolutions, we debate, always in a respectful and kind way with each other. And then we also have socials afterwards, where we get to know each other and try and build community. Additionally, like convention for our national, we also have an annual convention for ourselves where we do our elections. So we elect all of our steering members as well as other positions. It's a really fun time. Go democracy. And then the national conventions are biannual. And they usually take place in Chicago. And I hear it's in In terms of our campaigns, we're going to go into this work a little bit later, but some of our recent ones we've been really excited about are our Immigrant Justice Committee is doing a goal of 1,000 ICE Watch hubs this year. Are any of you familiar with ICE Watch hubs?
Mm-hmm. We're familiar with ICE, but not with watch hubs.
So basically it's a way that we're able to keep our community safe. We have volunteers that go to Home Depots to keep an eye out for ICE, make sure that the day laborers know if it happens, and also alert the infrastructure all throughout Orange County when it does happen. It's a way to build solidarity and keep our neighbors safe. And we're trying to get over 1,000. I think we're halfway, around 500 so far, so we're right on the way. We're pretty excited about that. We just ended also a campaign for Oliver Ma. I don't want to take up too much because I know you guys will talk about it, but it was great to just be able to go out, talk to the community, canvas, phone bank, and really let people know that there are options, right? It's not just corporate politicians. There are people trying to make this world a better place. Additionally, keep an eye out for Fusco, for the Irvine Unified School District. He already touched on Mayday Strong, and I also wanted to plug the Emergency Workplace Organizing Committee. If anybody you know is trying to organize their workplace and they don't know what to do, and maybe they don't have the guidance of a larger workplace, let us know. There's a great project between EWOC, Emergency Workplace Organizing Committee, and Unified Electricians Union that helps people, gives them the guidance, and gets them in touch with organizers. And I believe, well, he's one of them, and he does a good job. Lastly, our mutual aid committee is doing tailways. Again, we'll talk about this a little bit later. They're doing tailway clinics for people that might be a little bit more marginalized, maybe not want to get pulled over by police. We're just trying to keep our community safe now. And we'll go into a little bit more detail with this, starting with one of you guys.
Hi, I'm Shelley. I've been working with the Immigrant Justice Committee. It actually, our committee started gaining a lot of traction early last year in anticipation of the second Trump term. And after the June ICE raids, we picked up a lot of steam. So every month we had a major canvassing Know Your Rights event where we head to a specific city and we approach businesses and hand out resources and flyers to them so that they know how to protect their customers and protect their community. If they do see ICE, we have like a rapid response hotline number that they can contact if they see ICE and want to report. And we also have red cards that we hand out and zines and whistle kits, but just a lot of those resources that we want to share with everyone. And to prepare for that, we also have events where we have working socials to put together those packets so that it's a good time for people to jump in and get involved without feeling too much pressure. They can meet the people that are doing the work and then just feel like they're more part of PSA. And then our other big project, as Jack mentioned, is our ICE Watch hubs. We have several locations in Orange County, so it's not just in like Santa Ana or Lake Forest. We have hubs that are in Garden Grove, Anaheim, Fullerton. Each hub is a little bit different, but basically the hubs that we are at, we offer training so that we can keep the community safe. We get to know the jornaleros who work at the ICE or at the Home Depots. And it's also oftentimes like a mutual aid support where people would bring food or water so that the jornaleros would have food to eat. And then we can also catch up with our other members to keep in touch with what's going on, especially with how fast things are happening in the news. But yeah, like people have said before, our organization is very flexible. We want to empower everyone to do the work they want to do. And if you're interested in learning more about immigrant justice, just let us know. We'll be here to help.
I'm a little short. Okay. I'm going to be speaking a little bit about the mutual aid committee. So how mutual aid fits in with socialism is that it's a way to build alternate power as opposed to charity, which is more top-down. Mutual aid is more side to side. So we give and we receive in this format. And this is done in collaboration with a lot of other organizations in Orange County. So it's a good way of building solidarity and community with other organizations, such as with Costa Mesa Mutual Aid and with the 714 Mutual Aid as well. Not only is it just helping out people who are in need, but we're also addressing some of the issues that we see in Orange County. So to address the ICE raids, we have the monthly grocery distribution to support families who are affected by that, especially when it was kicking up. A lot of families were afraid to go out to shop for food, so we would help assist them. For a while we had like a place set up, and when that got dangerous, we actually delivered the groceries. We also addressed the housing crisis to provide harm reduction and essential goods for our unhoused neighbors in Harp Park and Orange and also in downtown Santa Ana. And as like I mentioned, this is not just it's not a top-down thing like a charity. We also have internal mutual aid in our chapters. So it's both outwards and inwards, coordinating internal mutual aid with fundraising, grocery support, and skill sharing.
I'm back real quick just to talk about political education. I think we formed this committee with the lens of we're not the first people in the entire world to call themselves socialists. We're not the first people to care about our communities, and so it behooves us to kind of understand that history, learn about the struggles that have taken place before us, learn about the wins but also the losses, so that we can learn how to become better organizers. And we do that by organizing a couple of things called Socialist Night Schools, right? So these are online reading groups where we kind of take a smattering of different readings that kind of build onto a central idea. So this is kind of a little rigorous thing where we take a couple books and kind of discuss the ideas together into maybe what's the central idea here. What do we do about these ideas to turn them from something into our head into concrete action in our chapter and in the communities. We also have Night Lights, which is just a fancy name for a reading club. I'm sure everyone knows what a reading club is. We'll just take one book. We say we're going to go chapter by chapter or a group of chapters, right? Every maybe once a month, maybe twice a month, and then read through a book together, right? Sorry, question real quick?
What are you reading now?
Right now we're reading through, remind me his name, Harmon.
Chris Harmon.
Chris Harmon's How Marxism Works. We do have a chapter, yeah, I saw that, right? How Marxism Works. So we're going to go ahead and finish that up, actually, so we could read through it. A lot of these books are available online for free, so you actually don't need to have the copy on you. So yes, yeah. So we can go ahead and hook you up with a link to join the next one. I believe it's happening on the 21st. That's a Tuesday at 6 p.m. Right? They have it online.
Great resources.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, what book are we doing next?
So right now we're still, remember democracy, right? We have to vote on the next book that we're going to be reading. But I want to do a book on the intro to Marxist economic theory, right? So labor theory of value, kind of talk about the economic critiques that socialism has on capitalism. It's one of those topics that is central, but to be honest, no one wants to read about the labor theory of value, right? So we want to approach that together, see what we can glean from it, and what's useful in our organizing. So it's best to do that, I think, together, right? We also have a chapter library. I don't know if Mike's still here. Mike donated a bunch of books to our chapter, and I'm talking like a bunch of books, and broke my back getting it from his apartment to the house. But he donated a bunch, and he wanted to make sure that these books aren't just collecting dust in his house and now in my garage. We want to actually get it out there, right? So talking about an intro to Marxist economic theory, that's actually one of the books that he
there might be room for those books here.
Might be, yeah.
Are you considering yourselves a hardcore traditional Marxist organization?
So I honestly don't consider ourselves anything. We're a big tent, right?
Yeah.
We want to explore ideas as they come, especially when it comes to our political education. A lot of our material leans towards Marxism. But I, as the chair of this committee, will never say no if someone wants to talk about anarchist theory, right? We're a big tent organization. I want us to mean it when we say it, so we'll discuss any topic in good faith.
I also want to add one thing. What I love about being in DSA is we all disagree on everything, but we're working together to build it. Like, if you ask any of us a question, we'll probably have 7 different ways or opinions on our politics. But it's great to have a cohesive political project that we're like, hey, we're trying to work that out.
Do you shoot Keynesianists? Do you shoot Keynesians?
Oh, no, do we shoot them?
I try not to shoot anyone.
You listen to it. Do you jump them in the alley?
I read books in my spare time. Right, so nothing cool like that, but we do have that library, right? And we're in the process of making it available to as many people as possible right now. That's only one of the things that we do that isn't organizing reading groups, right? So if you want, if something like this appeals to you, again, I view it as kind of taking history and turning it into something that's useful for us. That's what we do in political education.
Please, where's the library located?
So right now it's located in a series of boxes that are a fire hazard in my house. But right now the thought is that I'll publish a list somewhere, and if you want to borrow a book, email me. We can figure it out. But we do have monthly general meetings. So if everyone comes into those meetings, it's a great place to exchange those books. But our contact information will be at the end, and we'll make sure to get that out.
You won't give us your address?
Can I just be chismosa really quick? I have to tell you that I met these guys at the very early on when I started going out there, and they were the only ones who were actually, and I'm going to say the word and I apologize, not bitching and actually doing something. And I was so impressed because they were, they came from, everywhere. And they were the first group that came to the bookstore and said, we need like a center because we need to organize and we need to go out into the neighborhoods, right? And I was so impressed with how they took action, right? So I just want to put that out there because I will always appreciate how in just a matter of days, like you guys were making contacts, you guys were, out in the streets, giving out, you guys were the first ones to, give the red cards and the whistles and thinking about what was going to be needed. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Lizette. We appreciate that. Thank you.
And then one more question. There will be time at the end, okay?
I have a simple question. You talk about book clubs, book readings. There's a book club that meets in, I think it's the Unitarian Church in Orange. Are you part of that group, or is this a separate group you're talking about?
No, it's in Anaheim. There's no Unitarian Church in Orange. It's in Anaheim.
So
it has a book
one in
club.
Orange, yeah.
No, we are a separate book club.
Right.
Okay. There will be time for questions at the end, so I'm just going to, in the interest of time, move on, okay? But there will be time for questions. So BDS stands for Boycott, Divestment, Sanctions, Palestine. It's been a group for a while now in our chapter DSA, and from what I remember, if I've been told, our chapter here was one of the first ones to kind of take a stance on anti-Zionism and being very pro-Palestine before any other chapter kind of got to that point. And so that's a really, kind of proud thing to say for our chapter here. Kind of let's take a stance on Palestine for any other of our comrades. And what our committee does, BDS Palestine, they do a lot of kind of solidarity actions all around Orange County. There is a pretty big one called Banner Drop for Palestine, and you have different locations. There's one in Irvine, one in Orange, and one up in, I think, in Yorba Linda too, or Placentia area.
657 at Yorba Linda Boulevard.
Thank you, Vern. Thank you. And they're out there. They're hanging all the signs on the freeways, kind of spreading awareness, kind of being loud for what's happening in Palestine, for the things that are happening there, and the atrocities that that Israel is doing against the Palestinian people. And also another big campaign that my committee, environmental committee, and also BDS is doing is the GCAN out of Garden Grove. And it was a very tough time when that happened, because a lot of my family and my friends live in an area where where GCAN had that crisis there. And I remember going to do some mutual aid at one of the high schools there in Anaheim. I think it was Sahara High School. And I went down there to donate, blankets, toys, whatever. And it was, pretty chaotic seeing them, all the pets in the crates, all the people in this one room, and especially seeing Red Cross being like, yeah, we don't have anything for the people here. And it was distressing to see how, this aerospace company, this basic arms company, displaced thousands of people from their homes, a lot of working class immigrant people, and people from Middle East are still being affected by, these wars that Israel is doing in America, fleeing from those wars. They're still getting affected by, all of the terrible things that the U.S. and any other, and Israel is doing against them. Still here because of, GCAN, because of a series of mishaps that, got to a point where it was just way too late. But BDS is a great committee.
Well, that's it.
Very good. All right. So, Environmental Working Group, we're a new committee. I joined DSA looking to do some organizing in the environmental kind of organizing space, and I saw that we're lacking an environmental working group. So I took I was proactive, and I took the initiative to start this working group alongside another one of my comrades.
That's your line of work professionally, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So I work as a land steward with a local conservancy down here in Orange County, and I do all types of habitat restoration. I restore habitat to what it should look like, make it more resilient against fire, providing biodiversity, providing all that good stuff for all of us. Clean water, clean air, and safer communities around fire-prone, fire danger areas. And that's what I do as a career. And I love mixing my work with anything, and I'm very passionate in organizing in the environmental space because it really lacks that in my field. The thing about my job, it's a pretty nonpartisan, very neutral place. You don't have any stance on a lot of things, which makes it kind of tough for me to do kind of more than just my, more than restoration work. I want to do more than that. I want to actually take a stand and have an opinion about things and fight for what is basically my life, my career. But, right now our big two campaigns is, GCAN out of Garden Grove. And that is a terribly awful environmental disaster. And my other campaign is Save Orange Hills. And so with Save Orange Hills, what it is that the Irvine Company wants to develop a parcel of wildlands, of beautiful, clean, important wildlands out by Irvine Regional Park, in between Irvine Regional Park and Peters Canyon Regional Park, right by the entrance to San Diego Canyon Road. And you want to make more luxury homes, single-family luxury homes that no one can buy. The workers that are making them that can't even buy them, they're not for us. And they want to put them in a very fire-dangerous community where just a couple weeks ago, fire started right by the highway. And imagine there were homes there, it could jump to these homes. So it's just the Urban Company being Urban Company and wanting to take more than they need. And I'm organizing with these people who are going to Save Orange Hills. They're a great bunch of people. And what we want to do, our goal is to stop the Urban Company from developing this land, donate it to OC Parks, and create a new regional park for the communities in Orange County, connecting all three parks together, ensuring biodiversity, and also, ecotourism makes a lot of money here. It makes, those two parks there just make $1 million a year annually for a while now. So we don't need these homes, we don't need more money, they don't need more money, definitely. It makes enough money. But yeah, that's what I've been doing with the Environmental Working Group. Connects with a lot of stuff, especially BDS Palestine. But another one of our committees we have here are the more administrative committees, and that's membership outreach, finance, and social media. Membership outreach organizes socials for our chapter here in Orange County. So we got to see movies, go on hikes, do fun stuff. We like having fun. We're not just, kind of angry, pissy socialists. We like having fun every now and then. But we love going out. We love going on hikes, organized hikes for our chapter. Kind of hard right now because of summer. Very hot, very dangerous to go on a hike right now. But alongside that, we have finance. They keep all of our money in order. They make sure we're getting our money from national. They keep our taxes in check, and they make sure our status is a 501c4 is nice and safe. And social media, we have an Instagram account, we have Blue Sky, I think we have a Twitter also. All of our accounts, they manage that. They post news, events on our social medias, and they also repost and spread awareness by reposting other types of media from different types of local orgs like CSO, TUA, National, DSA, all types of stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Take it as we run our own chapter, work out with ourselves. Yeah, I'm speaking for Labor Committee. I'm the secretary of the Labor Committee. Is anybody here in a union or a retiree from a union? Dude, let's go. Me too. I'm not a retiree, obviously. Anyway, our labor committee supports organizing workers here in Orange County, whether it be supporting existing unions and their own actions, or like reforming unions, so making unions more democratic, so members have a say and can actually direct the program of their unions. I'm sure many of you know, not all unions are very progressive, but the way we fix that is by getting power into the members' hands so that they can direct the program and working people are truly represented in their unions. I'm very proud to be a member of a Democratic union, the United Auto Workers. But yeah, we also support new labor organizing through Emergency Workplace Organizing Committee, like Jack was talking about earlier. That's a place where we connect workers who want to organize a union in their workplace with experienced organizers to help get that started, and then eventually hand them off to a union who can support their organizing drive with legal and longer-term bargaining support. We have a few exciting cases in Orange County where we're helping workers organize their jobs. But that's what that does, and that's maybe our biggest priority as DSA. It's like building power for the working class, building democracy for the working class, not just at the ballot box, but also in their own workplaces, right? So we stand in solidarity with almost every union. We've been out there here in Anaheim for the Starbucks workers at downtown Disney when they went on like a 90-plus day strike, fighting for their first contract. But we do all kinds of stuff. So if you are a member of a union or know of family members who are who want support, or if you want to organize your workplace, please be in touch. And then last but not least,
hello again, it's me. So, like Sean shared, we have a lot of exciting national wins, but we want to bring that energy to Orange County. We're hoping to build working class power in Orange County as well through elections, right? So most recently, one of our campaigns was we endorsed canvass and phone bank for Oliver Ma for Lieutenant Governor in the primary. You can see the picture here. We actually had the biggest canvass for Oliver in the state of California, so that was pretty exciting. And we are also, there's like statewide initiatives, like with Oliver Ma, there's the California DSA currently endorsed the Billionaire Tax Act, so Prop 40, as well as the Children's Education and Healthcare Protection Act, Prop 3. And for our committee, some of the more recent things that we've been doing and you can look forward to is we updated our endorsement process. So with the DSA difference in mind, right? So we want to get people driven, invite people into organizing, canvassing, phone baking, and having these conversations with working class people to ultimately build our power together. This Tuesday, we actually were able to have a great turnout in collaboration with California Ranked Choice Voting to convince Irvine City Council that it's a good idea to have ranked choice voting on the ballot for this November, and it actually passed. So that's super duper exciting for us. And not just short term, but we're also looking long term. So this committee is relatively newly formed, but we're looking at a long-term vision. We mentioned very early on that Mamdani had his win this past November. That was actually a result of a 10-year plan that New York TSA had. So we're looking at a very long-term plan for our vision of Orange County as well, to hopefully build up leaders like Mamdani for ourselves. So that's really exciting. Thank you.
How long were you guys out during the Irvine meeting? How late did you guys stay out?
It ended up passing on the day after, so at around like 12:30 a.m.
More than double the turnout in the room. Okay, well, we're kind of moving towards it already, but I want to take this moment to ask you to join DSA if you're excited in our work. You can be a member of the Democratic Club and also of the Anaheim Club. And also remember DSA, we're open to everybody. So feel free to find us and help us after the meeting.
You know how to use those codes.
QR code. You can also go to dsausa.org/join. And that's the way to do it. Or you can find one of us and we'll help.
And if some of you are from Anaheim or nearby, we'd like to you to join us too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a good amount of Anaheim members.
Well, I also just wanted to open the floor up to Q&A. If you have any questions for us, we've sort of already getting there, but if you have any questions about the work we do or our organization, we'd love to answer them. And
Are you asking us? I think most of us, if not everybody here, shares your principles and your goals. I mean, we're really attuned. That's why we've been ousted from the DPOC and the other. However, we are sort of a radical group, and we're organizationally challenged. We're not real big on, we're more like, we don't have to show you stinking charters. What would if we were to affiliate, join, become whatever part of DSA, which I'm all in favor of? What's the paperwork?
Yeah. So
Any charges,
the only
fines,
thing you need to do to join is just fill out the form.
membership fee?
I think he's talking about just joining
As individuals.
as individuals.
As individuals? Okay.
Yeah. And our meetings are all, we run by Robert's rules. But obviously we try and keep it like open discussion. I've definitely seen people who chair meetings and abuse the rules to shut things down. It's definitely not how we try to operate our meetings. It helps because we have so many different perspectives in our organization. It helps us keep things civil. Because at the end of the day, we're all fighting for a better world, and we should unite around that. And we're fighting for independence, in as well, so that working people have a choice. They're not stuck with an establishment that doesn't represent them.
Is
they
there a
have the
membership
agency
fee?
to actually go
Is
out
there a
there
membership fee?
and change it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, how often do you meet and where do you meet?
We meet once a month as like a general body, but our committees meet all the time. Like I think most committees meet once a week or once every 2 weeks. And committee meetings are usually on Zoom, so anybody can meet because it's a big, Orange County is a big place. But our general meetings are in person, and they move around the county so that everybody has a chance to not have to drive a super long distance.
So we just need to, is it usually one day of the week or a
They're the
specific
fourth
day?
Saturday of every month.
Is there any membership fee?
Fourth Saturday of every month from 11 to 1:30.
And they're also hybrid.
Yeah,
So
so
we
you
go.
There is a membership fee. There's a whole range of different options depending on your financial circumstances. So you can pick whichever one works for you. We also have a fee waiver if you can't afford to pay. But organizing people organizing money is almost as important as organizing people because we're up against the entire capitalist class, the entire ruling class, and if we don't have our own resources to help support our people organizing, they're liable to crush us. But we find that organizing both are important. So if you can pay dues, even just a little bit, that is very important. So. But you don't have to be a member of our meetings though. You just have to be events. We have our general meeting on the 25th at CWA. We've got an immigrant justice canvassing in Cyprus on the 18th. That's this Saturday. And then we have a political education committee meeting on the 21st online. So if you're interested in any of those things, let us know. Anyway, thank you so much for having us. Sorry it was really
Make sure to get some pizza. I got 4 pizzas here. And